principally mentioned are stocks, bonds, and property.
Right.
I'll give you an example. You got a commercial property, you got a title. You want to put the title on the blockchain, and you want to have sales and purchases of that property, even rent for various offices on that commercial property. You want to have that on the blockchain, and you want to have that managed with XRP because it's fast and cheap. I made an argument in my January newsletter that XRP compared to Swift has roughly a 650,000 to 1 advantage. 650,000 to 1 advantage for cost multiple times time multiple. Cost multiple by time multiple. All right. Most real world, I mean, they've already got an acronym. They're calling it RWA.
Right.
And, you know, when you got an acronym, that means you got a lot of movement and a lot of conversation, and they wanted to reduce the number of letters so they can communicate quickly because it's popular and it's being adopted. There's predominantly stocks, bonds, and property. All right.
And this ties into the tokenization as well, right?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
You've got to get the securities for stocks and bonds. You got to get the securities on the blockchain. And our XRPL is the ledger. XRPL is their blockchain. They've got the dominant position now for the ledger of the blockchain and the stable coin with RLUSD for usage of XRP, and it's going to catapult the XRP price. I think it's going to be about 8 stages where it takes quantum jumps. I think we got a quantum jump to 5 pretty soon. Then we got a quantum jump to 12 pretty soon. But let's stick to the argument here. The real world assets, okay, you identified the stock market as at least 40 trillion in value. The bond market is at least 10 trillion in value. The NASDAQ is at least 10 trillion in value. That's 70 trillion. The people who are making market cap arguments are not incorporating all that. They're not. Okay, I heard the XRP market cap is a little short of 1 trillion. It's like 800 billion. And they say, well, it can't go 10 times higher. That'd be 8 trillion. That'd be 3 Apple computers. And I say, Apple Computer doesn't have tokenized stocks, bonds, properties, and more. Okay, the property market in the United States, I believe, is something on the order of 20 trillion. Something. Okay, that's 100 trillion for stocks, bond, property, and wait a minute. Yeah, stocks, bonds, and property. It's about 100 trillion.
Right now, the market cap for XRP, just throwing it out there, is 176 billion and change.
Oh, I thought it was 800 billion. Okay, someone told me it was 8. Okay, I haven't checked this. I'm busy with the newsletter. Okay, so 120 billion.
176 billion.
100 and what?
176 billion.
Oh, okay. I'm not off. I said it was I said it was 800. Oh, it wasn't 800. It was 180. Okay. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I think that I just wanted to clarify that.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's good. I like being corrected when I'm wrong.
Same.
I don't have a giant ego. Honestly, I don't.
I mean, what's the point anyway?
Okay.
Put that aside.
That's just the United States. I'll just throw something out. What's the Korean stock, bond, and property market worth? Well, they're probably, you know, a quarter of our size. So maybe they got 20 trillion. What's the Japanese stock, bond, and property market? Okay, they might be only 120 million people, but their entire size might be half the United States. They might be 40, 50 trillion. What's the Saudi Arabian stock, bond, and commercial property? Well, they got Aramco. Is Aramco going to get on the Ripple?
Looks like I looked it up real quick. It looks like Japan. I didn't look up Korea, but Japan, we're looking at between 4 and 5 trillion.
For what?
The size of the stock, bond, and property markets.
All three?
That's what I'm seeing here. Yeah, I don't know if that's and again, this was as of I think.
I don't think that includes property, but okay, all right.
Okay. Oh, wait
I
a
think
second.
it's
Wait a second. Wait. Okay, I didn't read this correctly. So the stock market is
it's
4 to
5
5
trillion.
trillion, the bond market 10 to 12, and the real estate market 3 to 4.
All right. Add in their Japanese government bond debt, and you might get closer to my number, like 40 trillion.
Okay.
All right.
So you're
Will
going
that,
around.
okay, remember, Japan said that they're going to be completely uniformly XRP compliant in the year 2025.
Yeah.
I think that means they're going to convert and digitalize their real world assets to the blockchain for Ripple and tokenize in the vast pool of RLUSD stablecoin. I can tell you this is going to be very, very big. And the market cap arguments, I think, are off by a factor of 10, maybe 15 or more. The market cap arguments. Oh, it could never get more than that. Well, that's only twice Apple.
You're talking by
Apple,
multiple of 10 or 15.
no,
That's how far
10 or
off
15
of 10 or 15
trillion,
trillion? Okay.
trillion,
Gotcha.
trillion.
All right.
Can't get to that level of trillions because that would be like
I'm at the last resort. I've lost a failing temporary that in my front.
three Apple computers. Well, Apple doesn't have tokenized United States property and assets. Okay. The bankers brought this on, and it's one of my paragraphs in the report that I hope is posted tomorrow. I got to get working tonight, and shit, it's already almost 7 o'clock
Yeah,
here.
we can round it out. We can wind it down. Yeah.
We are in a grandiose transition. The bankers brought this on themselves. They've got bond fraud. They've got insider trading. They've got money laundering. The big banks. They've cut deals with Trump, and I think Trump is going to force them to become, equal seat at the table for a 2-year period. This is all going to be a transitionary intermediary period.
Okay.
The banks are going to have to go along with this. And part of the reason, and Bank of America CEO Moynihan said this, we realize the 1,000-to-1 advantages for speed and cost. They did an experiment. A guy named, oh gosh, can't think of his name. He did an experiment. He moved $50 million with XRP.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It was 2 seconds, and it cost $30. Mm-hmm. No, I'm sorry, $3. It cost $3. $3. Okay, that was my example to come up with the 650,000 to 1 cost efficiency. By efficiency, I mean time as a factor. The bankers brought this on. They brought on the blockchain. They brought that motivation on from their fraud.
Yep.
The blockchain will be an extreme obstacle. It will not prevent all fraud. It will be an extreme obstacle for preventing fraud. I'm sorry, I didn't say that right. It's going to be an extreme. Yeah. It's going to be an extreme obstacle for their continued fraud. Right. It'll be a great tool to prevent fraud, and we're going to see elections. And the elections, they're not going to be transactions. It's just going to be a blockchain for locating it so we can avoid election fraud. I think we saw the last election from the, what do you call it? Oh gosh, what's the name? We changed the way you vote. Dominion. Dominion and Smartmatic, they're going to be put out to pasture. Agreed. The blockchain will eliminate them. Indeed. Okay. This transition is going to see the entire global financial system put on the blockchain, which means the entire set of assets in the global financial structure is going to have to be converted to stable coins in order to facilitate movement, purchase, sale, transfer, etc. Everything is going to be done with a much cheaper. Okay, Trump is going to do things to reduce costs with oil price, with increased supply, with more jobs and more income, less poverty, lower debt, lower government debt eventually. We're gonna see an era of 5 year reduced inflation. We're gonna see an era of that. We're also gonna see banks realize much lower costs. What are they in the business for? Lending and transfers.
Yep.
The lending is going to be done on the blockchain. It's going to be on the ledger, and the transactions. Imagine, okay, this came to me from a fellow. His name was Ahmad, and I can't get past that. He was in Oman. He did a consult call. It's the only Arab I've had a consult call. British educated. His name was Ahmad. He was working. He said, I'm working in the valve and pump business in Oman in the oil industry. And I'm telling, and this is 2 years ago. It was autumn of 23. He said, Jim, XRP is all over the place. XRP for small and medium transaction. My cell phone, my electric bill, my water bill. And I said, can you give me one example of, I've told this story before. Can you give me one example? Can you think of anything where XRP is used like for a contractor in maybe a 10-story project for construction? He said, yes. I know a fellow and he's in the cement business and he's using XRP for transactions.
Wow.
All right. And I said, is this going to grow? And he said, yes, because I've heard from my friend who's in banking, I've heard that XRP is in a trial for all the low-level transactions like utilities, water, electricity, cell phones. And if it's successful, and it is, they're going to move it to industrial, commercial. And I said, okay, do you see a day, I asked, down the road where Oman is going to have a deal with Italy for a large natural gas shipment, and it's going to be paid in XRP? He said, Jim, what I'm hearing is that is the goal. UAE is going to drive that, and XRP is going to have a share. Not going to be completely XRP, but they might say 25% of the entire transaction will be done in XRP.
Mm-hmm.
Well, billion-dollar sales. Okay,
yeah.
When people are making their market share observations and conclusions, they're not factoring in global trade. They're not factoring in global assets. Simple question. What is the value of the global economy? It's about 100 trillion. What is the value of global assets? It could be 300 trillion.
I'm gonna say, do we even know? Do we even know the answer to that?
We have rough ideas by extrapolating. If we know the value of the United States assets, we know the share that the United States has of the global economy. You can make an extrapolation. Then you got to bring it down a little bit because, Pakistan and parts of Africa, they're not as developed, but they're going to be. I have on good authority, a fellow told me, Jim, the next 10 years is going to see the greening of Africa.
Wow.
The underground water supply is going to be brought to the surface with irrigation. Uganda is going to become an exporter of food. Uganda.
Wow.
I know that from a guy who I talked to. It didn't work out, some deal we were trying to do, but it's another story I'm not going to mention further.
Sounds like a golden age to me, my friend. Absolutely.
We're about to see a golden age. What we need to do is avoid the cabal and globalist desire for a nuclear war.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
We need to see the Rockefellers become, if not bankrupted, at least, what do you call it? Equitable players in the global economy. Equitable, not dominant, equitable. Can you participate without being a lord? Do you have to rule everything? Do you have to kill in order to be happy? Okay, that's a very tough question.
That's the thing I wonder about. Are they going to really give those guys a pass? They're hardcore Satanists. That's the part. That's a sticking point for me. I don't know.
I don't have an answer to that.
Yeah.
But if they can maybe eat their own, they need abduction. Okay. They need a supply. Can they feed their own? I know that's a very brutal question, Can they have grandchildren that they can murder for ritual? Okay, I don't want to get into that. Okay.
No, I don't want to get into it either. I'm just talking about the concept of
I
making
don't have
deals
an
with
answer to that.
Yeah.
They can reform. Can they be happy without killing? That's my question. Can
No.
they be happy without war? That's my question. Can they be happy without dominating and feeling like they're lording over the nation? That's my question.
You can't make a deal with the devil, is kind of my point.
I know that is the question. Can they be happy without suppressing technology? Okay, I have a client. I don't think they can, so I don't know how it's going to work out. I've got a client who told me, Jim, I got a fellow in the military, and he won't tell me what state, but I think it's California.
You're not a child, you're a man. So stop wearing so many layers to go outside and get the bearskin.
And they got flying